Have you ever considered participating in mission work as a nurse? Whether you have previously participated in mission work, are considering it for the first time, or simply want to reconnect with the deeper meaning behind nursing, the podcast today highlights the profound impact of mission work on patients, communities, and the nurses who answer the call to serve. Welcome to the Journal of Pediatric Surgical Nursing podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Terry Clark. I am honored to welcome our guest today, Miss Hannah Ramos. Hannah is a registered nurse and a Pediatric Surgical Program Manager at Children's Medical Center in Dallas, Texas. Welcome, Miss Ramos. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Dr. Clark. It's an absolute pleasure, and I'm excited to have this conversation with you today and discuss all of the benefits of this type of work.
Exactly. So you recently authored a guest editorial titled Field Notes from the Frontline of Mission Work in Nursing, and it focused on intentionality. What inspired you to write this guest editorial?
This is something that I think has been a long time coming. It's a really special type of volunteerism in addition to nursing work, both domestic and overseas. And this is a tremendous platform to be able to share this work. And it was just right time and something that I think was long overdue.
Awesome. We're so glad that you did. I enjoyed reading about it. So you describe mission work as helping you rediscover purpose in nursing. What was the specific moment when you realized mission work had become such an important part of your professional and personal life?
That's a very special question. And I think when you begin to think or go down the rabbit hole of finding something either bigger than yourself or just in addition to the work that we do, there are a lot of people who really pour into families and education, the work that they do at the bedside here as their full-time position. But I think the moment that it really solidified for me was when I didn't want to go. And it was a huge battle to go, to take off work and to leave small children and to spend the few hours that you have kind of to yourself. And it just became really hard to encourage myself to go. And when I got on the plane and I got there on my third or fourth trip, and I realized that there was nothing more important that I could be doing with my time. And that was the moment for me that I realized that this was something I wanted to do for the rest of my career.
Right. And it's so just to, you don't know part of my story, but missions is actually what got me why I chose nursing. And so when I was, a new college student, I wanted to be a full-time missionary in another country. And so I felt like nursing would, align well with that. That's not the direction that my life eventually took, but it really what kind of directed me towards nursing was the thought of being able to do that. So this was definitely kind of sparked an interest in me for sure. So it's so nice to see that you were able to do that. So I know that many nurses feel burned out or disconnected from the reason they entered the profession. So how has participating in medical missions changed the way you approach your everyday nursing practice back home?
It's incredibly revitalizing. When you first think about it, and when you surround yourself with people who are interested in participating in this kind of work, or you get approached, you can kind of feel like, oh, this is for somebody that's not for me, or you can say, I do enough. I'm burning at both ends. I'm absolutely exhausted with giving and giving and giving. Um, but it revitalizes you in a way that patients appreciate what you're doing for them. And the best way I can describe it is practicing nursing the way that it was originally supposed to be practiced. Just authentically without significant barriers or burden. And as a value add to somebody who could never give you anything in return. It's a tremendously beautiful moment. It is a appreciation for the access to care that we have, the access to practice that we have, the resources that we have. It gives you a very good understanding of just how valuable the work that we do is, and also how lucky we are
Right, right. Now
to
that's what I
have.
would agree. Like I said, I think my original mission trips were in Brazil. I was probably like 19, 20. I went two different times. And it just gave me such appreciation for, what we are and blessed with, I'll say.
Oh,
And so,
absolutely.
yeah, definitely. So,
And
in the
it's
guest editorial, you discuss working in environments with limited resources while still maintaining high standards of patient safety. What lessons from the mission nursing could nurses apply when facing challenges in their own healthcare settings?
it's very empowering to be in a room where you know that your education and your standards are what differentiate that patient from potential unopportunistic outcomes. And it's very exciting to operate in a way that is just muscle memory. It's so interesting that the protocols and the policies and the workflows that we have are just second nature to us, and we get to share that and mentor that with nurses overseas. And there's the value add of caring for these kids. The majority of the mission work that I do is all pediatrics, but you get to instill that same confidence in the on-site staff. And that is something that I think could be its own podcast, is teaching how to be resourceful, teaching these policies to the staff that are there so that they continue it long past when you are gone. And that confidence and that encouragement to continue doing that when you come home is uplifting and empowering, and just being a good steward of care and continuing just to show that through example is, I think, the best thing that somebody can bring home.
Right.
Is
No,
is
that's an excellent
Mhm.
point. Yeah,
Yeah,
no, I
it's
mean, it's the whole give them a fish or teach them to fish, so that's a whole nother
yeah,
element of the mission work. Because, like you said, I think a lot of times we think it's what can we give while we're there, but trying to grow training and things like that, that's a wonderful point. And so many nurses are interested in mission work, but feel overwhelmed by where to start or worry that they won't have the right skills. What advice would you give a nurse who is considering their first mission experience?
I think if you have an interest in it, you're already light years ahead of where you think you might be. And there are so many resources where you can give either your time or your encouragement. And the way that I originally started in this kind of work was just helping pack equipment. And I think knowing that there are more opportunities as opposed to volunteering and taking that huge commitment, depending on your family constraints or just like all those factors that contribute, you can do tremendous work step by step. So I think the first thing that I would tell somebody is you don't have to take a big bite to begin with. And then the second thing is addressing, do I have the right skills? Do I have the right experience? There are so many different ways that you can give your nursing knowledge if you decide to go on a trip. And that can be triaging a patient, doing assessments, getting them put into a system, making them feel comfortable, explaining to them what's going to happen, patient education, a lot of those things that we all have refined um, and become experts of as our career progressed. And if all of those things kind of seem like they align with what you would like to do and you want to take that first step, I would say you should find somewhere local because if you do want to get involved, you want to do it consistently. And then also just looking into other people's experiences. Does anybody have a recommendation for you? Is there anybody who aligns with the values or the interests that you have? And maybe they do something similar and they would have a good reference for how that organization works. A lot of universities have organizations like this, and you can even do like a quick Google search or see what's in your local community. But in my opinion, finding people who align with you so that you know it's going to be a well-organized and successful experience for you is just through referrals. And you'll be surprised how many people are actually involved.
Right, right, definitely. My husband actually works for a nonprofit where there's a lot of blindness across the world that can be prevented, and so he works for a company that raises money for that, and it's just to think about, if they could just have the right treatment or the right medicine, that they would keep their sight. So just to know that each of us could play a role in helping someone in that way, it's just so valuable and like you said, can bring so much meaning to our own lives. But so if listeners remember only one message from your article, what do you hope it is and why?
I would want them to remember that the work that they do, regardless of where it is special. And that nurses are special and our education is incredible. And if you decide that this is one way that you want to give back, there are so many opportunities for you to do it and some non-traditional ways that you might think of or create that mental barrier for. And so I would just challenge you to connect with somebody and to see where you might fit in. And if you do get the opportunity to go and you come back, I would love to hear about it because it is a moment like no other. And it is a privilege, and nurses have an incredible knowledge base, and it is a gift to give. And when we do mission work the right way, and when we share that gift of our practice with other people, the world will just continue to be a better place because they'll carry that on with them.
Right, definitely. It's beautiful. And you don't have to go out of the country, right? You can do
Correct.
things in state too. So I'd say, start small if you're a little
Hmm.
fearful. So you could even do a half a day thing. You don't have to do a 10-day out of the country. But
Absolutely.
all
Yeah,
right. Well,
there's
Miss Hannah Ramos, thank you so much for joining us and sharing your expertise and service with us.
it was absolutely my pleasure. Thank you for including me, and I look forward to hearing all the incredible stories.
And to our listeners, thank you for listening. You have been listening to our guest, Hannah Ramos. Thank you for tuning in to episode 7 of the Journal of Pediatric Surgical Nursing podcast. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, share this episode with friends and colleagues, and share on social media. You can find links to today's article and the journal in the show notes below. We appreciate your support as we continue to promote excellence in nursing. And until next time, I'm Dr. Terry Clark, wishing you peace and health.